Hiya, and welcome to another episode of I'm Your Biggest Fan, the podcast that chats to your favourite artists about their favourite artists. I'm your host, Jazmin L'Amy, in conjunction with the Noizze podcast network, and sponsored by Satanic Tea Co. for all your satanic loose leaf tea needs. I've been very ill whilst recording this interview, so do mind my spontaneous choking and coughing. I tried to mute myself as much as possible before it spluttered everywhere, to use the nice term. But without further ado, I'm excited to introduce you to my next guest. It is Sal Pellegrin from the London-based queercore hardcore punk outfit, that was a mouthful, Shooting Daggers. The three-piece have to date released one EP, 2022's At Thames, and Love and Rage, their debut full-length released in 2024 this year. That was this year. We talk about Sal sliding into the drummer's DMs, begging for not begging, but you know, the cheeky little, please let my band open up for you, and the response that she got from that, her adoration of touring guitarist Meg of Chubby and the Gang, her experience seeing them headline House of Vans compared to when she saw them play at Download Festival just gone, where she'd rank their most commercially successful record in their discography. And let's not forget, we did talk about that pink Turnstile plushy cuddly bear on their website. Take a listen. I don't know how much you were told before the start of this, but this podcast is basically a chance for musicians to forget about being a musician for a little while, because I find that with social media these days, fans have such an access to their favorite bands that they forget that their favorite bands just started out as fans, just like themselves. Yeah. So this is a chance for you to reminisce of when you were first growing up and first getting into music. And I find everyone has that one band that changed everything for them and set you on this course that you're on now. And I've been told that the band you want to talk about today is Turnstile.
Yeah, like after hearing what you said, I was like, oh, it could be a lot of other bands as well, because I've been listening to punk for like 10, 12 years. So I think depending on the phase of your life, it's like a different band, but probably the one that's more like the most relevant with Shooting Daggers and everything else is Turnstile.
Yeah, so when you were like growing up and getting into music, what came before Turnstile? What were you listening to before you discovered them?
I mean, when like just hearing what you said, like what came to my mind was like the Distillers and like Dahl, and obviously Bikini Kill and like Riot Girl bands. I was a massive fan of System of a Down as well. I had a really huge System of a Down phase. Like I was drawing portraits of Surge. I was like crazy fan of them. Like I knew all their lyrics, I had all the albums, I had posters everywhere. And it's just different phases of my life, I think. Just like different years, different and now I think the most relevant one for now is probably Turnstile.
So do you remember the first time you heard and discovered Turnstile? How long ago was that?
I think that was 2016 or 2015, and I was still in France when I discovered them, because I'm from France. I grew up in France. I was like probably like 15 or something like that, and I had friends in other big cities because I'm from like a very small town as well, so I was traveling to bigger cities, and yeah, I had friends that were putting on shows there, and they were like much older, and yeah, like they made me discover so many bands, including Turnstile. And I think one of my friends from Lyon was a massive like Turnstile fan, like from their um Step to Rhythm album. I think that was that kind of era when I discovered them.
Mm-hmm.
Step to Rhythm. Um, no, it was not that one. It was let me check. I need to. Sorry, I'm such a bad fan.
If
Let
it
me
was
check.
2015, would it maybe have been
Non-stop
Non-Stop
feeling. It was
Feeling?
non-stop
Yeah.
feeling. Yeah. Whoopsies. Such a bad fan.
It's fine, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Non-stop feeling. Yeah, that was this era. I remember like he had a massive poster on his wall as well, and he put them on for free in Lyon. Back in the days, which would never happen nowadays, I think. I mean, maybe I don't know, but they're so big. I don't think they would like not be paid to play anywhere.
Mm.
But yeah, and that's how I discovered them. Just, yeah, when I was a teen, basically, and they were so sick. I
Wow.
did
So when
not see them, but like I listened to the music.
okay, so you just said you haven't seen them.
I've seen them many times now, but like when I discovered them and started really liking them, I didn't see them for like at least a few years. I think the first time I saw them, probably like at the House of Vans in London,
Oh, cool.
2018, I think that was.
House of
Yeah,
Vans that no longer exists.
yeah, what a shame.
I
Mm.
know. So when you discovered them and you were introduced to them by your friend, do you remember like the first song that you heard? Do you remember the first feelings you felt when you heard them?
Uh, I don't remember the first song, but I do remember the song Seven from Step to Rhythm. This one I got it right. And that one, I don't know, it's just, to me that one sounds like their anthem. Even today, when I hear this song, I just feel like this is the most Turnstile song that Turnstile has ever written. And I don't know, I just thought it was sick as fuck. I was like, that's like um angsty. Like there's not even any vocals on it, but it's just like very melodic and kind of I don't know. It's yeah, it's just something I haven't heard anywhere else.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like a song that was still very hardcore and very tough, but like with melodies and like I could hear like the layers and dimensions of the song as well.
Yeah.
I still love the song so much.
So you mentioned there that before Turnstile, you were listening to Distillers and System of a Down. And besides the mixture of hardcore and melody, what was it that stood out about Turnstile against the other bands you'd been listening to at that point? Like what set them apart from everyone else?
Mm, yeah, I think Turnstile was probably my like that was my entry band to hardcore. Like I didn't listen to much hardcore before. It was more punk stuff, like skate punk. I loved skate punk back in the days as well. At some point, I loved NoFX at some point, and I think Turnstile was like yeah the like this new genre. Like I associate this band with hardcore. My entry into the hardcore scene. So I think that's why they're special to me because I did not really listen to hardcore before.
Yeah, so they've got that kind of nostalgia and like reminiscing feeling for you, considering they were like the first band you
Yeah,
heard that introduced you to that genre.
yeah. I mean, I was listening to like suicidal tendencies and stuff like that, but I didn't really know it was hardcore. I just thought it was punk, and um, I mean, I wasn't a massive fan. I just knew them, and same with like so-called jerks or like bands like this, and I just knew them and I associate them more with punk.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think Turnstile was the first like crossover band that yeah put me more into that opened the door to so many new hardcore bands that I discovered after them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So besides the obvious hit singles and top tracks on Spotify like Holiday, Blackout, and Mystery, well, basically anything from the Glow On album in 2021, what other hidden gems that people might not be familiar with would you recommend?
From them then from Turnstile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, to me, Glow On is not my favorite album at all. I like it, but I much prefer Non-Stop Feeling, Time and Space, Step Tourism. So yeah, as I said, Seven. I really like this song, even though there's no vocals on it. I really, really like it. I love. I'm looking at the tracks now as I'm talking.
That's good.
Uh, I love, yeah, because I haven't didn't do my homework. So let me check. Yeah, I love Bleach Temple. I love all those like instrumental songs, like Bleach Temple, Seven. Um, I love Love Lasso as well, like those sad songs. Yeah, I kind of like their sad, like a bit alternative and a bit like the songs that are a bit different. I like them a lot. I love um from Time and Space. I love. Let me find it now. Come Back for More, and yeah, and I also really like the identity of like Time and Space. I really like the little transition tracks, and yeah.
So your favorite tracks seem to be the ones that kind of stray away a little bit from the usual Turnstile hardcore formula. You like the ones where they kind of go off on a tangent a little bit.
Yeah, like yeah, maybe. The thing is that yeah, I think the ones that I like the most are probably like Blue by You, that kind of songs are a bit more like stand out and a bit different and a bit more sad. But I think they wouldn't work if there wasn't all the other songs around them. Like if there wasn't all those like um yeah, like fast songs, hardcore songs around these ones, they wouldn't be as good, I think.
Yeah, yeah, of course. You've got those to like compare them to and
Yeah, I think they just make sense together, and I think that's why they stand out more. Because if there wasn't an entire album with just songs like Love Lasso or Blue Bayou and stuff like that, I probably would not like them as much.
yeah, I find because I work in the music industry as a day job as well, and I
Mm,
find that like I miss the art form of an album. Like I will always be an albums girl. I will listen to it start to finish the way it was intended. And it's interesting there that you say that, you know, those Turnstile songs wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for the other songs that they have on there. Like listening to a song by itself,
mm-mm.
you would get a completely different feeling to if you listen to it on like the journey of an album,
Yeah, 100%.
which
Fully agree on with that.
is wild.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I agree with that too. Like I'm thinking about um like showing Daggers' next album already. We haven't started writing it yet, but I was already thinking I want to have something that's yeah, that makes sense, like from A to Z. Like it's something that comes back, maybe some melody or like little anthem that would come back throughout the album, like a story. And I
Mm-hmm.
think yeah, with Time and Space, I can, or even their other album like Step to Rhythm as well. Or no, with Non-Stop Feeling and Time and Space, I felt like they did that. Like they really thought they thought about the album as a whole and how each song would like yeah, would like complement each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool as a fan, like getting into obviously like you discover a band when you hear one song, but then as a fan, when you get into more of their discography, like you get so much more hooked when there's so much more to hook you on than just an individual song.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
But I totally didn't realize just how successful Turnstile were getting for a hardcore punk band because they're one of those band names that I've seen floating around and I've heard other people talk about them, but I'd never taken the time to listen to them. And then obviously I
Mm-hmm.
was doing my research for this interview, and now they've opened up for and supported bands like Blink 182 and My Chemical Romance very recently as well.
Yeah.
So, which is quite, or at least I find quite interesting for a hardcore and punk band to be opening up for like arena and stadium sized
Yeah.
tours, which is pretty
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. I've seen they just released like shoes with Converse as well. They just did a collab with Converse, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's really cool. I saw that as well.
Yeah.
Will you be buying a pair?
I don't really like Converse. To be honest, I like my Adidas, like my 90s Adidas. I always wear these shoes, different colors. I have like 3, 4 pairs of them with different colors. But
So
but no,
they need they need to do a collaboration with Adidas, basically.
yeah, maybe then, yeah, exactly. But I don't know if Adidas is the best brand, to be honest. And I always buy secondhand. It's like they're a bit. You shouldn't give your money to Adidas. They're not a good brand.
Could say that about most brands, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's secondhand, I agree, but I wouldn't buy new pairs of these.
Of course. I mean,
Yeah,
I wouldn't, just because I definitely don't even have the money for that. So
yeah, exactly, same.
even if I wanted to, my bank account says no.
Yeah. Also, I skate, so I always buy like skate shoes, and they don't last me long anyway, so I wouldn't buy new shoes. Like they're always secondhand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Going back on them opening up for Blink and My Chemical Romance, what
Yeah.
do you think is next for them? Where would you like to see them go from here on out?
Yeah, that's hard to answer because obviously, like, it feels like now they're like at the top of the career. So it's hard to see where, like, how if they could go even bigger than this. Like, I'm hoping they would. I'm hoping the next album is gonna be even more like hardcore, like going back to being more hardcore after being so famous and so big. So it would bring more people to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they do that and they manage to, yeah, bring new people, then I think hardcore is just gonna evolve that way too. Like it's just gonna be more of a it's gonna be a bit like if hardcore gets more mainstream, I think more people are gonna be interested in punk as well. And if you're more interested in punk, then more people are gonna be more interested in politics.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully it would change something. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the way to do it, like with hardcore
Yeah.
and punk bands. Like you start out with like your main core genre and your main core audience. Go a little bit mainstream so you kind of like catfish the normal listeners into
Mm.
your circle. And then once you've trapped them,
Yeah.
then you're like, aha, no, we have a message that you need to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping that's gonna be next. But we'll see. Yeah, I like Glow On, but yeah, still not my favorite. Like out of them all, it's probably my least favorite, but it's still good in my opinion. I still love it. I still listen to it so many times. But I'm just hoping a bit of like to bring hardcore back a bit more, a little bit more.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that is the album that kind of launched them that little bit further. So it makes sense for that one to be their more mainstream,
Yeah,
catchy, not true to their roots kind of one.
yeah, but I do feel like they're true in themselves with this album though. Like, I feel like they like a lot of genres. Like I can tell they really genuinely listen to a lot of things, and it's just because I'm not familiar with what they were inspired by for this album.
Right.
I think they had like a bit of jazzy moments as well. And I don't really know that, or like Blood Orange. I didn't know Blood Orange before they did a collab with him, like a few songs with him. And what Blood Orange does is not necessarily what I listen to, but I don't think it's bad. I like his songs, they're great. But yeah, it's not something I grew up in, or I've never been a massive fan of that. But I think it's good.
Cool. So out of all of their EPs and albums, then if their quote unquote biggest album you think is like your least favorite, how would you order their albums in terms of what you think
Okay.
people should listen to first, and then what you
Yeah.
think they can leave?
Okay. So I love this question. So I think I don't know if it's for like the general public. I would probably like what people should listen to first is probably Time and Space, and then Non-Stop Feeling, and then Scepter Rhythm, and then Glow On. But if it was for like maybe people that listen to more alternative stuff and like rock stuff, I would probably say Non-Stop Feeling first, then Scepter Rhythm, then Time and Space. But yeah.
Nice. So anyone listening that wants to get into Turnstile, you've been told that that is the order you have to listen to things in.
Yeah.
You mentioned there a little bit about like their political stance as well, and like bringing attention to really important topics. Now, with Shooting Daggers, you have quite a strong feminist and inclusive message at the root of your music. And considering that same stance isn't immediately obvious on the surface of Turnstile, how do they lyrically have an influence on the music that you create?
I think lyrically they're not like my reference band, to be honest. But I think for them what inspires me the most is the angst that they have, like the angst in the vocals, also the like just the way he sings. I think I wish I sounded like him. Some people say I do, and I love it, but I don't think it's true. Um, but yeah, no, I think lyrically is still like angsty. It's just the angst, but I think it's not necessarily Turnstile lyrics that inspire me the most. As I said, like I think a lot of hardcore bands have this same common ground of like angsty lyrics, and sometimes you don't even know what they're talking about. You just know that. I think for most hardcore bands, their songs they're just like I fucking despise you, but you don't know what the song is about. It's just like oh I'll step on you, and you don't really
Yeah,
know
it could be about a bee in a window or a
exactly.
wasp in a window. That could be all the song is about is how much they hate this wasp.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know what it is about. They're just really angry and really frustrated about something, and you're like, yeah, me too. But yeah, but I feel like most of the time that's what I kind of don't like about hardcore is that I don't really know what they're talking about. I just know they're mad,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish it was a bit more clear. Like, just say it. Just put a name on it. Say it's patriarchy or say it's capitalism. Like, just say it's something specific that pisses you off, and not just I'll I'll destroy you, you
Yeah.
know.
So you guys as Shooting Daggers have one EP at the moment and one upcoming debut album, Love and Rage. Besides the angsty, sorry, angsty lyrical content and vocal delivery, how has your love of Turnstile influenced your own writing with Shooting Daggers musically? And has that
Uh,
changed over time?
sorry, can you say it again? So can you rephrase it maybe?
Of course. Basically, how has your love of Turnstile influenced your own music writing with Shooting Daggers, and how has it changed over time?
I mean, yeah, I think that definitely like they definitely influenced String Dagger's writing process because like sometimes I would just learn Turnstile songs and then straight after write a song for String Daggers. Sometimes I would. Most of the time, I'm afraid people are gonna say, "Oh my god, they're just a rip off," because it happened several times that I wrote songs after like listening to them a lot or after learning their songs, you know. And I do that with other bands as well. Like I learn their songs, listen to them a lot, and then I write stuff like quickly after, and I'm always scared people are gonna be able to hear the influence, but I think it's just in my head because probably a lot of people do it, and yeah, so definitely like that happened before, you know, so they influenced us for real, and I don't know if it's changed over time. I mean, now I don't listen to them as much like lately. Like I've not listened to them this month. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty sure if they release something new, or if I feel like going back to my Turnstile phase, I would probably be inspired again and write new songs. Probably inspired by them. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Even guitars.
I see you've got a lot of tattoos there. Do you have any band related tattoos?
Uh, I don't have that many tattoos as well. I think I've got like 10. I mean, I don't know if it's a lot, but they're just big and I'm very small. I mean, yeah, I'm like very
I
tiny.
feel that. I've got my arms are covered as well, so
Yeah, yeah, like most of them are literally the smallest size I could get them. It's just because I'm super tiny, so they look massive on me. But yeah, no, I don't think I do have any. I don't think I had any. Um, I mean, this one is. I've got this. I made this one. I did it with. I mean, I didn't make it, but I got it tattooed with my bandmates at the
Oh,
same.
cool.
So we all have the same tattoo, and like it's three little characters. I don't know what they are, like witches.
Oh, I love
And
that. They're like alien witches.
yeah, like some. I don't know what they are, but they're cool, and we all have it, and it's really funny because yeah, whenever I see it on my drummer's arm or my bass player arm, I always forget that they like did it with me. I'm like, oh wait, I know this tattoo. Like,
Yeah, you're like, that's mine.
okay, but yeah. But I think that's the probably the only band related tattoo I have.
Well, here's a question for you then. If you could get any Turnstile lyric tattooed on you, which lyric would you choose?
mm, I would probably just I would get tattooed like Blue Bayou probably. But yeah, because this song is so sick and so emotional, and it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of cool, but I don't really look at the lyrics that much to be honest. So yeah, I would say probably Blue Bayou. Yeah.
Nice. So you mentioned a little earlier that you've seen them live a few times now. When was
Yeah.
the first time you managed to catch them in a live setting?
Yeah, I think that was House of Vans 2018, but I'm not sure actually. I think I've seen them before, but I don't remember. I think I might have seen them in France before. But yeah, definitely when I saw them at House of Vans, I remember it forever. Like that was so good. That was mental. And yeah, I think that's what made me like them even more. Like when I saw
Mhm.
them live, this band is such a live band. Like if you don't really like what they recorded, you're gonna love them live, especially if it's their own show, like their own headlining show. Yeah, and yeah, they just like jump around, and like the bass player is super, it's like a ninja, just jumping everywhere. Um, I mean, they're all like so into it, and like the energy is unmatched. Like it's just crazy. It's just mental.
Yeah, it's interesting there that you said that like even if you don't like what they do on record, you'll still enjoy them live. I've
Yeah,
found like I go to so many gigs now, and there are so many bands where I've not really thought much about them on record, and then I've seen them live,
yeah,
then it makes sense. And then
mm,
when I go and listen to them again after that, I've got like an entirely new perspective on them.
yeah.
So when you before you went to see Turnstile, did you know what to expect from a live show, or did you go in not really knowing like what the atmosphere was going to be like?
Nah, I knew because my friends couldn't shut up about them, and they were like massive hardcore, like crowd killers, like hardcore dudes. And they're like, this band is just the best live. It's crazy and stuff. So I knew it was gonna be like that. But I don't remember if it was the first time, 2018. But yeah, I just knew. I don't know why. I just knew they were gonna be super sick and that my life would be in danger. Seeing them. I don't know if it's the same nowadays because I've not seen them with their new album, but with Time and Space I've seen them.
Yeah.
It was yeah, I thought I was gonna be like yeah, because I was just on the front, so I like
Uh-huh.
people would just like jump like stage dive on my head every 2 seconds. I couldn't even like look up, but it was kind of sick. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Have you heard of a band called Jesus Piece?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I do press for them, and I went to one of their shows last year. And at this point, I had never been to a hardcore show before.
Mm,
And my work colleague Dave, he was like, "Oh, Jazmin, you're gonna die. Look at this live footage from Jesus Piece in the US."
mm,
And the US crowds were like I'm surprised no one was dying at those shows. Like it was so violent. And I'm very small as well, and I like staying at the back. And I was like terrified going to the show. And I think it's just the UK crowds are a lot tamer. Like I was absolutely fine and they were great.
I
Um,
think so too.
and then the second time I saw them was the end of last year. Um, Completely different vibe. Like the crowd was far more into it this time round, and I was like, "Oh, this is what I was expecting from the first time. I'm gonna die."
Was it with Stiff Mids? Um,
Yes, yeah,
yeah. Shout out Stiff Mids, so sick. Love them.
they were good as well. I love catching opening bands, because most of the time that's how I discover new music these days, is going to see support bands.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. You should, yeah, everyone should do it because most people can't be asked or people are a bit anxious, so they always go like later. But I think we should just stop with our bullshit and catch all the bands. I mean, I say that to myself as well. So I can never catch the first bands, but I should.
If you like, if you've got work and you can't make it, then that's fair
Yeah,
enough. But
yeah,
like,
it's fair
if
enough.
you can make it, you absolutely should.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But yeah, Jesus Peace. I think I've seen them before, but yeah, I haven't really listened to them much to be honest. But I just know they toured with Stiff Mid, so they must be good. I mean, Stiff
Yeah.
Mid's with them, but to me, it's the opposite.
See, they're one of those bands that like hardcore wasn't doing anything for me on record, but then I saw them live and I was like, hey, it makes sense now.
Yeah. I see that. Same. I feel like some hardcore bands I don't really listen to hardcore at home at all. Like or even like walking in the streets. I never listen to hardcore. But yeah, when I see hardcore live, it's always enjoyable. It's just more of a live thing to me than a solo thing.
Yeah, of course. Where are you based now, by the way? Do you live in the UK?
Yeah. I live in London.
Oh yeah, same. I was just like imagining you listening to hardcore walking down the street, trying to walk in London, walking behind someone slow and just like crowd
Yeah,
killing to get your way through.
it's kind of accurate. This is how I do it. I feel like yeah, I don't listen to hardcore much, in the streets nowadays. But I do have this vibe though. I listen to like Pink Pantheress a lot lately, and I feel very tough for some reasons. Listening to Pink Pantheress, just kind of jokes.
I love listening to the most like brutal death metal walking down the street. Just because you're
Yeah,
like, no one knows what is going on in my ears right now.
yeah, literally. You'd be surprised.
Exactly. So after the first time you saw them at House of Vans, have you seen them again since, or has that been the only time?
No, I think I've seen them. I think that was Download Festival. Yeah, I've seen them at Download.
Okay, so how was it? Because personally, I find seeing a
Yeah,
band in a festival setting is so different to seeing them on a headline tour.
yeah,
Um, I don't know, I just find that like when you go and see a band on their own headline tour, you know that everyone is there for the same reason, for the same band, most of the time has the same level of respect.
yeah,
When you see a band in a festival setting, sometimes people might be there just because it's something to do and like the atmosphere is a little bit off sometimes. So, what was the difference in seeing them between House of Vans and Download?
yeah. That was like completely different, to be honest. Yeah, Download. It was. I think they played at like 1 or 2 p.m. and yeah, it was quite early. And yeah, there wasn't many people. People were just like hanging around, and I don't know. I think the vibe was a bit off. Like they were not really there for them. They were just there for like probably some other bands. Some people were there for them, but yeah, I think Turnstile you need to really dig them. I mean, you need to see them live when they're headlining because it's just yeah. When you're there for this band, it's just so much better, and then when everyone else is as well. Because yeah, I could feel that people were probably just like watching them between two other bands, or which was a shame because they're fucking sick.
Yeah.
But I felt that all the other bands at Download, to be honest, like that's why I think I'm not really a massive fan of festivals in terms of music. Depends which ones. Like the small ones, like Fluffest, that doesn't exist anymore. But Fluffest was in the Czech Republic, and that was like so sick. Like small DIY fest, people know all the bands, like they love all the bands. But those massive Download festivals or those massive big festivals, they're just they have so many different genres that you just end up like mixing crowds that don't really like the same stuff.
Yeah, I remember the first time I went to Download. So I'm originally from a really small island called Jersey, which is just off the coast of France in the Channel Islands. And there's like no music scene there. Never went to any gigs there growing up. So like if I wanted to go to a gig, I'd have to come to England to do it, and that could get quite expensive. So I remember the first time going to Download Festival in 2018, and I was terrified because I was like, everyone just comes to these festivals to do drugs and drink And I don't do either of those things. I just want to watch the music, but I'm terrified of like everyone else ruining my time. And it wasn't that bad, to be honest, at all. I think I wouldn't get along with Glastonbury or Reading, but downloading comparison was not as scary as I'd made it out to be.
Yeah, I've never been Glastonbury, and maybe I will someday. But yeah, never. Not really my thing. Yeah, as I said, I just prefer like smaller
Yeah.
smaller festivals.
But it's like
But
what
yeah, I
you
get
say,
you,
like,
especially when you're young. Oh. Sorry, I was gonna say. I was gonna say, yeah, especially when you're young, like going to a festival, like being with people that are much older, and yeah, it's just like super overwhelming. And if you don't drink and you don't do drugs as well, and you're just there with like two or three friends, kind of scary.
yeah, it's like being a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah,
So I've
especially
got
when you're a child as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I got a couple more questions for you. The next one is personally, I'm a really big fan of band merch, and I know Turnstile have quite a few merch designs and different things which are pretty cool. I've seen on their website they've got a pastel pink Turnstile bear bunny plushie toy thing, which is really cool. Do you own any Turnstile
Yeah, yeah,
merch?
yeah, yeah. I do own a hoodie that my housemate gave me, but I didn't buy any, unfortunately. But I've seen this still plushie, and I think it's someone from the UK that makes them. I think it's someone from London actually. Um, yeah, because I've seen that kind of plushies have been done by other bands as well, like Firewalkers, but I don't know if they exist anymore. It's like an all girl band from the US. But yeah, they've done these plushies from other bands as well, and I think they're so sick. I actually wanted to make one for Shooting Daggers, but then I was like, it's been done already. We need to do something else. But yeah, that's sick. I would love to own one, by the way. Like, I might buy one at some point.
You should do a shooting daggers plushy bear, but it's like actually holding daggers. And then be like, not for kids.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that would be so sick. Like a little, I don't know, a little squirrel or something, because we call each other squirrels with string daggers. So maybe that's something like that, something cute. But I kind of like a little demon as well, like a little evil plush with daggers. Would be sick.
I love that. A squirrel, which is supposed to be cute and wholesome, but it's dangerous.
Yeah,
So,
and it's very awesome as well.
yeah. So, if
Yeah.
you had to introduce Turnstile to someone listening to them for the first time, which three songs would you choose that encapsulates their entire discography?
Okay. Let me have a quick look. I think it should be from different albums, obviously, because you need to have the full like experience. So you need to decide which vibe you like the most. So probably I would say probably Mystery from Glow On. Then Time and Space, I would say Come Back for More. This is so good. And then I would say Seven. Again, Seven is sick. I love Seven a lot for some reason. Yeah.
Amazing. So, there was something else I was going to ask. They've they open for like Blink 182 and My Chemical Romance. And would you have seen them on those tours, or those two bands you'd go and see them with?
Yeah. I think I like them more than the headliners, to be honest. So like probably because I like Blink 182 a lot as well, but I don't know if I like their crowd. I don't know who is such massive. I don't pay that much to go see gigs. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm a bit of a rat. I don't want to spend money. Like I don't want to spend 60. I don't know how much was the tickets. Probably I don't know actually. I've got no clue.
Probably a
But
lot. I think they were upwards of 100.
oh yeah. So yeah, that's probably why I would not see these bands. I would not see them support these bands just because I'm a bit of a rat and I don't care about these headliners enough to pay that much money. I mean, I think they're still sick, but I'm more of a DIY local band.
Yeah,
girly.
I feel like Blink 182 fans as well are like gym bros and like frat boys.
Yeah, yeah. Literally, I don't know. Like so many people like Blink 182. 182. I'm wondering what Blink 182 fan would go see them live, and would I like this crowd? And I really wondered how it was for Turnstile to open for them. Like, how was the pit? I mean, probably people loved them and knew them as well, but I think I don't know if it's the best like match in terms of yeah, like touring together. I don't know if the energy really matches from this band to the other band.
Yeah, I remember when I saw so one of my favorite bands is Guns N' Roses, and I saw them after they reunited, and I'd grown up watching like their 1980s and 1990s live videos, and I was expecting the same kind of crowd, but then I remembered that the majority of Guns N' Roses fans are much older than I am. And when I went, the crowd was just absolutely dead. No one was moving. And I feel like because Blink and My Chem are kind of like nostalgic bands now, that
Yeah,
their main fan base probably wouldn't have been as physically active as what a Turnstile fan base would be.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too. But then they played their new album, and it's not as like physical as the other ones. So maybe it worked really well.
Mm.
And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, also, yeah, like the guitar player. I mean, the ex guitar player of I don't know actually of Chubby and the Gang, Meg. She's from Leeds, I think. She toured with them, and she was playing those dates with Blink 182, and I think that's so cool. Cause yeah, cause I don't know, just having a guitar player that's a woman
Mm-hmm.
touring with them it means a lot to me, especially because it's her. And I remember seeing her play live with Big Cheese opening for Turnstile at House of Vans in 2018, and thinking that she was like the sickest guitar player in the world, and that I
Mm-hmm.
needed her in my band. I still want her in my band, but maybe one day. But yeah, I'm so happy for her. Like she literally made it. That's so sick, and she's so cool.
So is it just those dates that she was playing with them with, or is she still kind of in their circle?
I don't know because I don't really know her much. Like we played together a couple of times because we played with Shabby in the gang a couple of times, and I don't know. I don't know if she's like an official member of their staff because she lives in here. Like I've seen her 2 days ago play in Hackney at Oslo. She has
Mm-hmm.
like a solo project, so I think now she's in the UK. So it doesn't seem like she's an official member, but that would be really cool if she was one. Because I'm pretty sure she like the songs would be amazing as well. She really needs to be hired. They need to hire her, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like there's like an extra level of
Mm.
angst as well from a non-cis male band member that just adds to the hardcore and like punk message as well.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, even in the guitar playing, and you know you can feel that kind of things. Yeah, and what I like about her as well is that like as I said, I've seen her a few days ago, and she has another project, and it's like completely different. It's not hardcore or anything. Is like with like a synth type of instrument, like an omnichord, I think that's the name of it.
Okay, cool.
And it's like she's singing with a very like ethereal voice, and it's like super soft and like dreamy, and it's literally like nothing to do with hardcore. And I like that she does both, and that Turnstile also do whatever they want. Like they their influence are not just hardcore. So I think that would be super sick to have her on board. To be honest, to add
Yeah.
another influence to their many influences.
I love it when bands have this like duality to them. Like you get such a heavy and I guess like music for any type of mood.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like as well. I like when people just do whatever they want and whatever they feel, and yeah, and that the music fits for any type of mood, as you say. Like you want to listen to one song and you want to feel a bit romantic. You listen to this one song, you want to feel a bit sad. To the other one, angsty, another song. But then when they make sense together, it's like the magic of them. It's like fully rounded, like all dimensions. It's all together. You know what I mean? You feel everything.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
besides Meg, have you met any other band members from Turnstile?
No, I don't think I've met them like personally. I've seen them like really close, like I don't download just passing by or stuff like that. I've talked to the drummer on Instagram back in the days, like just I think I literally asked him to play with them. I was like, oh, can we open for you guys? Which is so funny. But
Did you get a response?
yeah, which is so sick because he replied. But I think because I followed him on Instagram like from like ages ago, like years ago when he didn't have that many followers. So he replied. I think I tagged Turnstile a couple of times, and he replied to my stories like, "Oh, thank you" or something. And then I saw that they were gonna play in London. I think that was like a couple of years ago, maybe last year. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna drop him a DMs and just ask if we can open for them. It's like very delusional, but he replied. He said he said they found someone else, and they ended up not playing anyway. I think they had to cancel their tour or something.
So it wasn't a no, it was just a not this time.
Exactly. No, it wasn't a no, and also I just appreciated that he replied to me, even though it's just probably a lot of people asked him that kind of thing. And yeah, that's sick. I just like that too because I feel like they're real. Like
Yeah,
you know,
they care.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? Next time that they announce a tour, maybe next time slide into his DMs again.
That would be the dream, and I would lose my shit. Like honestly, it would be so sick. But if it doesn't happen, I wouldn't be mad either. Like I would be at peace with it not happening. You know, it's not like a life goal or something, but it would be super fucking sick considering I love them so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was all the questions I had for you, unless you have any other anecdotes or fun things to add.
I think that's it.
Well, then, in that case, thank you so much for having this chat with me. I hope you had a good time, and I will let you get on with the rest of your evening.
Oh, thank you very much. It was really fun. I had a good time.
Thank you for listening to I'm Your Biggest Fan. If you enjoyed what you heard, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, send it to your nan in the post. Every little helps. You can follow us everywhere at biggestfan_pod. Follow me everywhere at Wrathchild_jazz. Noizze at Noizze UK on everything. Noizze Podcast Network at Noizze Podcast Network on everything. And Satanic Tico at Satanic Tico and at Pitch Black Nor. If you have a band member in mind that you think would be perfect for this podcast, perfect for this topic of conversation, or maybe you are the band member and you're the super fan, drop us a comment, drop us an email. All other info can be found below in the description. And thanks again for listening. We'll catch you soon.